right, hi guys. So today we are going to make our oatmeal Scotchie cookies, and normally we would do this in class, and so we'll experiment. So of course, my pantry is probably like your pantry, and you don't always have everything. It's not that easy to run to the store, and so make cookies or make something that you would normally make, like banana bread, brownies. I want you to try something that isn't out of the box though. So here's the recipe that we're going to try that we normally would do in our class. Normally I would have you split this recipe in half, but we're just going to make the full recipe. This is my daughter Sadie. She's going to help us today. All right, so here we go. We are going to start first by measuring all of our dry ingredients in a separate bowl. If you have a large mixer, you might want to do this in your mixer. We're going to try to do it by hand today. So the first thing we're going to do is 1 1/2 cup flour. Flour, remember from your quiz that you just took the other day, we want to spoon in flour. Now, the reason we do this is that flour can become compact, and if you have too much flour, that's sometimes how you have hard cookies. So I'm going to spoon it in, like so. I'm going to use my knife and level it off. I might have to move it over a little bit to level it off. There we go. And so what do we say, Sadie? 1.5 cups?
Yeah, 1.5 cups.
All right. You can do this with whole wheat flour, or you can do it with regular flour. Okay. Next, we're going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon. And this one, you can, depending on your container, you can just scoop it in. You may need to use your knife to level it off. Some have a nice little leveler. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of baking soda. Now, make sure with baking soda that you use fresh baking soda, not the one that you've had in the fridge when we did our cleaning. With this one, I tend to mix it up a little bit and then level it off on the top of your box. Kind of mix that in. Baking soda and baking powder are different. They do a different, each do a different, react differently, and so making sure to read your recipe correct to use the correct one. All right, teaspoon of salt. I am going to pour this over just a garbage bowl, not my real bowl. And again, do that. Level it up. All right. Sadie, you want to mix that up just a little bit? All right, good. And then just put that to the side. All right. Okay, so now in our big bowl, we are going to put 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, which sometimes people get confused by. And these have been sitting out all day. Okay, put that in. Next, you are going to add a cup of sugar. Sugar, you can just scoop it in because it doesn't become compact, and level it off. All right, Sadie, you can take your whisk and you can kind of start mixing those together. And then I'm also going to add my cup of brown sugar. Brown sugar can be packed in, and so I'm going to take my 1/2 cup because that's sometimes easier to pack it in. I try not to use my hands in the demo. She used her hands, but if I can use the side of my container. Does anybody know how to make their brown sugar soft again? If you put a piece of bread in there, that bread has enough moisture that it will kind of wick into your brown sugar and make it soft again. So if you have brown sugar that's hard. Okay, so I'm going to mix this, Sadie. Next, we're going to do 2 eggs. Sadie's going to crack them in a separate bowl. Yep, you can do that. That's good. The reason we do it in a separate bowl is in case there's shells. Sometimes we're using farm fresh eggs, so sometimes we might have something that's abnormal in there, and we want to make sure we fix that. Okay, Okay, so Sadie cracked her egg. She's gonna go wash her hands quick so we don't have cross-contamination. Eggs can have E. coli and salmonella. And so whenever you crack your eggs, you wanna wash your hands. If you dripped, if you spilled, you wanna make sure you clean that up with a little bleach or vinegar. Remember from our cleaning unit, vinegar is a great natural solution that kills a lot of bacteria. All right, you want to grab a fork, Sadie, and just kind of mix that just a little bit to break up those yolks. All right, so you want to mix your butter and your sugar, so it's cream together. If you have an electric mixer, a lot of times that's much easier, but this still works great. Just make sure you chop that up. Okay, then add that in, Sadie. All right. I'm going to use my scraper, mix this all together, cream it together nicely. All right, Sadie, you want to we're going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. There we go.
Just over there.
Yep, you just do it over that.
Okay.
She wanted a garbage. She's asking for a garbage bowl just in case. Careful so you don't try to overspill that. But
2 of them?
Yep, 2 of them. There you go. All right, add that in. We're going to mix this in.
That one's a big one.
There you go. Add that in.
2.
Good. Okay. Good job. All right. All right. So I have this nicely creamed together. Now what we're going to do is slowly add our dry ingredients. And Sadie's going to slowly add those in for me. Are you washing your hands quick?
No, I'm wiping this off.
Okay. Good. All right.
Okay. Now I'll add it for you.
All right. Just add slowly. If you're using your mixer, make sure you turn your mixer off before adding it. Okay. You can add it. Yep. Go for it. There you go. There we go. All right. Mix this together. In the meantime, she is going to measure 3 cups of oats. If you have the old-fashioned oats, those work best, but the instant work just fine. And she's going to put it in my dry ingredient bowl. And with that, she can just dip her cup in, scoop it up, level it off with the level. Make sure your cup is clean.
I do a smaller cup.
Yep. Do you want the half one instead?
Yeah.
There you go. You can just do that. If she needs a spoon. You can just add it right in here.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm going to add my 3 cups of oats. Fold it in. Folding it just kind of means you're just mixing it in. You don't want to be real rough with it. If you're using your mixer, you might want to use your hand or your spoon just so you don't shred up your oats. Okay. That's good. Okay.
Is that the last one?
One more.
One more.
Okay. This is kind of a bigger recipe. Normally we split this in half, but I figure we're going to eat it. Okay.
Last one.
All right, good. Okay. So we'll mix it in so there's nothing left. I'm going to pause real quick and we'll be right back as soon as we get this mixed up. Okay, so we have our oats all mixed in. Next we're going to add, normally we'd add butterscotch chips, which are amazing with this. That's not something I normally have in my house. So we're just going to use chocolate chips. You could also use raisins, dried cherries, anything like that. Okay, 2 cups of chips. So let's add those in.
Or nuts.
Or you could add nuts. We don't like nuts in ours. I don't like raisins either, so.
I like raisins.
Okay, add those in. This is kind of like, we're going to do 2.
Okay.
This is much like a granola bar that you would buy. Yep, add those in. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is get our pan ready. Sadie, you want to grab me a piece of parchment paper? Parchment paper is awesome because it helps keep your pan from getting really dirty. And also sometimes it helps them bake better and they don't burn. If you have like a Pampered Chef mat, that works awesome too. So we're just going to put that on our pan just like that. We had turned on our oven to 350, 375, depending on your oven before we started. Now at school, we have these nice little scoopers. I have a little bitty scooper because usually when we make chocolate chip cookies, I make really small cookies so that they last longer, maybe. But this recipe calls for about a 3 tablespoon measurement. And so if you just have a tablespoon or a tablespoon, whoops, somebody has to do dishes. Okay, so what works great is you don't want to touch these very much, but if you put about your tablespoon size, yep, we'll get this first batch going and then we'll get them in. Make about a tablespoon size. Make the ball. Everybody kind of has some secrets. My grandma used to be amazing at making cookies, but she never really passed on her chocolate chip cookie recipe to us. So whatever works for you. I've seen some of you guys have already posted your cookies, and you've done an awesome job. So, and everybody's turns out a little bit different. I can make the exact same recipe every Sunday night, and they will turn out completely different. Sometimes it depends on if my butter, if I remember to let it sit out, or if I am taking it out. If I let my eggs sit at room temperature, which is really important. We have farm eggs, so sometimes they're different sizes, so that can make a difference. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that I can get about 6 on this pan that I currently have. We're going to put it in the oven for about 7 to 8 minutes, kind of depending on your oven. And then when you take them out, we'll come back, okay? So we're going to pause for a minute and put that in. We're going to get another pan ready, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so when your cookies come out, make sure that you put the pan on like your stovetop. Don't ever put it on your counter so you don't melt your countertop. Also, make sure that, so let them sit on the pan for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then remove them with a flipper, put them on a cooling rack so that they can evenly cool, and then put them in a container so that they are sealed tight. And then remember not to put those pans in your sink until it has cooled. So then repeat all of your cleaning tasks, clean up your mess, do your dishes, sweep the floor, and wash it. All right, guys, we will talk to you next week when we will be making our spaghetti confetti.